Hey, so I've made a few changes. For anyone who doesn't know, I created this custom prop a while back, and I'll link the original video down below. But basically, I smushed a juggling club and poi into a single prop and creatively named them Club-poi. These let you do a lot of fun things because you can juggle them like normal clubs, double flips and all, but when you fling them around with a little more force, the ball pops off and they become poi. And then, you can do poi things and they self-retract when you're done spinning them. But that's all old news, unless this is your first time seeing them, in which case, whoa, look at that! Anyway, I'm doing another quick video on these because in the last one I said there's a lot of room where I still want to be developing these things. And that's been floating around in the back of my mind for a while, but now I finally have some updates. So based on the feedback that I've gotten, my main goals were to adjust the weight of... I don't know where I got the idea that I'd be able to write on this backwards. Alright, so the main goals were to adjust... Why is the text backwards? Okay, pause. Editing Nick here because I don't know what was going on when I filmed this, but my brain was not participating. The text obviously isn't backwards, my camera screen was, but either way, I have the power to flip things, so I'm not sure why I was so concerned. All that aside, what's a blane? I was having a time, I guess. Anyway, enough laughing at myself. Let's get back to what I was saying. Okay, we're ditching the whiteboard. I have the ability to edit. I wanted to adjust the weight and balance. I wanted the handle to be more comfortable because it was a little bit tough with the plasticky material. And some people felt that the extension was too long. That sounds pretty straightforward, but to get from here to here, I had to completely redesign the whole prop and get a bunch of new tools. The wire length was easy enough because I just needed to get a new crimper to cut down and reclamp the end of the steel cable that I use. However, the other changes that I needed to do involved upgrading my 3D printer to this $1,000 new machine. The new printer does help me produce things about twice as fast as the old one did, but more importantly, this guy can print rubber. Technically, it's still plastic, but it's flexible and it's practically indestructible. The regular plastic that I use is rated for high impact anyway, so the strength wasn't really that much of a concern. But what the rubber does allow me to do is print my mousse on the bottom like that still. And I can cover a screw because the flap bends up to show the screw or the mousse. But more seriously, I can print a flexible handle that allows me to switch to a full wood dowel construction. In theory, that's great because that solves a lot of my problems, but it adds just as many more because of my old design, all of my parts would screw together. So it made assembly really easy to pop things on and off. But I can't do a threaded rubber connection because that doesn't work very well. Plus, while I can put a screw on the back easily, I can't put a screw on the front so much because there's a cord coming out of that. I do still have some of my original design sketches, but I'm going to skip over a few months of random iterations and failed parts because my whole room right now is a mess of a workspace. I have saws everywhere and I'm just kind of in my free time. Anyway, the first major change is that there's some flex in the handle now, just like a regular juggling club, so it's more comfortable to hold. The wood dowel also adds a significant amount of weight to the handle, so the weight is much closer to matching a standard club now. I tried both poplar and oak dowels, and I ended up going with the slightly more expensive oak, not only for strength, but also it adds a bit of weight. I also slowly shifted the shape of the head of the club to slightly adjust the balance point so that it's right on the center of the collar now. This makes them perfect for thumb rolls, which I don't think is something that most people care about too much, but I love thumb rolls, and I do them absent-mindedly all the time. So this was a very important step for me. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. They're much more comfortable to use, and they match the expected look of a club a lot better. Thank you to anyone and everyone that may have bought a Club-poi from me already. It really does help support this project and any of the other development work that I like to do for juggling. I will no longer have the original version of Club-poi available, but version 2 is up on my Etsy store right now. Plus this time I'm launching with a bunch of different colors. The price did go up slightly, but these are more time consuming and expensive to produce. I do really try to keep my prices reasonable, and I'm actually on a lower margin than I was before because I think it's really important not to go too crazy with that. I do see this being the final version now, but I am starting to work on a few other ideas, so who knows how that'll go, but stay tuned if you want to see the videos on those when they come out eventually. Oh, and one last quick thing. I have some stickers now that I'm going to put up on my Etsy store as well. Back when I first started this channel, I was really only doing art, and I haven't touched that in a long time, so I wanted to do some design work with some silly little juggling stuff. So say hello to this little trash juggling raccoon. I'm going to put up a video at some point about art related to juggling, and maybe I'll put this guy on a t-shirt or something at some point, I don't know. I just thought he'd be fun to make. But if you want to get the sticker, those are available now, along with this little moose guy that I have because I figured why not. Alright, well that's all for now. I'll see you in the next video.